Hey, it's Mark from Good Stuff Graphics, trying something new. Point of view cam, so you guys can see what I see when I'm making shirts. I'm probably best known for making fight shirts, at least in the Quad City, Illinois, Iowa area. I make a lot of stuff for the MMA guys. I do stuff with Mike over at Caged Aggression. I mean, I like to do a variety of work, but it seems like I've kind of really fallen into the niche of making fight shirts. And that's due in no small part at all to Anthony Nachi, who is kind of the first guy in this area I met when I moved to town, and I was working over at Garden City Tattoo. And he came by because he was interested in getting a tattoo from one of the guys there, and we started talking, and he ended up introducing me to Jose and Christy Serta at that time over at Fitness First Plus, and they were putting on a fight, Stars, Stripes, and Fights. It was or Stars, Stripes, and Fights. It was a benefit for a local guy who was killed in action in Afghanistan, and they were throwing a benefit fight for him, and Nachi was fighting in that fight, and I ended up doing their fight poster. I did the official shirt for that event, and I just designed it, and they had it printed elsewhere, but it kind of got me into that niche of everything, and then I started doing stuff for Nachi, and I ended up getting hired directly because of that by a promotional company, and I started designing their stuff, and it kind of went on from there. And now I'm in business for myself, and I've done shirts for a ton of fighters around here, and this is another one, although this is probably the most different fight shirt that I've ever done. This is for Barb, and it's funny because about a year ago, Nachi was like, hey, I got to hook you up with Barb, you know, you got to do her shirt, she's a world champion, you know, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, and see, I was still new to the area, I didn't even really know who she was, and we talked about it, but it never really came to fruition. So now that I'm kind of in the know a little bit more, and I know who she is and what's going on, and that she's going to be fighting November 1st at the River Center in Davenport, I said, hey, Nachi, I called him up. It was just a couple weeks ago, and I said, hook me with Barb. We got to do this shirt. She's fighting here. It's her hometown. We got to do something cool for her. So we ended up talking just shortly, but she's so busy getting ready for the fight. She said, hey, I'm going to send my friend Julie over, and you guys can work it out. She wanted to kind of get a shirt made anyway, so this works out good. So Julie came over, and we started batting ideas around. I was like, so what does Barb want in a shirt? She says, unicorns. I was like, unicorns in a fight shirt? So I started, coming up with some ideas, but I was kind of drawing a blank. And Julie goes, hey, look at this picture on my phone that Barb sent me. And it was a cartoon picture of a unicorn. You know, cats and dogs, they crawl along wiping their butt on the carpet when they're itching their butt or whatever, but it was a unicorn doing that, and the unicorn had a rainbow coming out, and I was like, well, all right, she's got a sense of humor. So I started thinking of something along the lines of what could be maybe funny, and the only thing that really came to mind was Miracle on 42nd Street or 32nd Street, whatever movie that was. That little kid says, every time you hear a bell, an angel gets its wings. So I was like, okay, what could happen with a unicorn when Barb knocks somebody out? Because at that time I was thinking knocks a girl out was my thought process on that. And my first thought was, okay, a unicorn could get its horn. So I came up with this little cartoon of a unicorn flying by, and it was growing a new horn. I did the little cartoon effects that would show that the horn just popped up, and basically it was, every time Barb knocks a girl out, a unicorn gets its horn, and the little cartoon was saying, kick ass, thanks Barb. So I was going with that, but I threw in another one just for fun, and that was, every time Barb knocks a girl out, a unicorn farts a rainbow. And I kind of threw it in there as a joke, quite honestly. I was like, no way she'll bite on that. And I sent it over to him, or to them, and I didn't hear anything for a few days. So I was like, okay, that went over like a lead balloon. And from there, I just kind of kept on messing around with designs. I did an alternate design, which I'll probably show you later, and got that ready, and I get this message on Facebook, and it was basically, Barb likes choke a bitch out, and she likes the fart one. So I said, all right, cool. So now, not only am I known in the Quad City area for my fight shirts, but I'm known on maybe a larger scope for doing up a shirt of a rainbow farting unicorn. And my favorite saying out of the whole deal is smell the rainbow. But anyway, that's what we're printing today. We're printing the rainbow farting unicorn for Barb. She's fighting this coming weekend, actually. It's going to be Saturday, November 1st at the River Center in downtown Davenport, where the Cage Aggression fights always are. This one is an Invicta fight. It's going to be carried on UFC Fight Pass. So people who aren't here can watch it live on UFC Fight Pass, and you can come to the show because you're local, and your friends all over the country or all over the world can see you watching Barb fight and defending her flyweight world champion belt, by the way. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. This kind of stuff, we're lucky that this is coming to town. You really got to take advantage of the fact that this is coming right in our own backyard. One of your own, Barb Honchak, is going to be fighting right here in front of you guys, and you can go see it. So, anyway, it's going to be a great fight, and a lot of people snapped this shirt up. It really kind of went viral on the internet. It's really kind of crazy how it all happened. Anyway, I've laid down the white base coat here. Everything that's going to be white is already on here, and it's a real simple design, but being as there's so much going on, consistency is the key. You really got to stay smooth with it. This is one of those that you can't rush. You got to let everything dry in between steps, because we're going to end up outlining everything, but there's going to be this rainbow here, and there's like 7 colors in the rainbow. I made the rainbow out of 4 colors, just 4. And what we're going to do is it's going to be like a red, and then the orange, yellow, blue, violet, and then kind of a magenta red. And the thing is I did my little halftone deal on this, so where it looks basic and simple, this shirt's really kind of intricate, because I've got to get it just right so that the red's red, the orange is going to be orange, which is going to be a mix of yellow and red, like I said, halftones. Blue, there's green going on here, which is going to be, of course, the blue and the yellow mingling to make green. Blue and red make violet, blah, blah, blah. So you got to be dead on. You also have to take your time with it, because you can't have colors sticking to each other or the screen sticking to the shirt. Not sure what happened to my tunes, but anyway, so I'm laying down the yellow now. This one takes a little bit. It ends up being 5 screens altogether, but that's a lot better than the 8 that it really should be if I was doing all the colors in the rainbow. And it would be kind of a bummer to have to do 8 screens, because you're talking, it's just that little bitty rainbow there. So anyway, we're going to move on. Got 2 more yellows to go, and I've got to pause a little bit more than I usually do. I could be whipping through these things, but they take a while, because if I don't let this ink dry here, the next layer is going to stick and pull up on the screen. I'm going to be white blotchies. The next layer is going to come off, and it's just going to be a mess. So it's kind of a good thing I got to sit here and yammer in between them. Otherwise, I start getting carried away and trying to run too fast with it. Slow and easy wins the race sometimes, and this is one of those times. So anyway, we're done with the yellow here, and we're going to move on to red. It's a little bit of a different pattern than I usually do as far as my swiping and stuff, because you pretty much got to get it on the first crack. If you don't, you end up overworking it, and this very kind of intricate, delicate area where you can see on the screen here, wide open right here, and then it's got a bunch of little dots here. If I lay too much into it, a lot of ink smooches into those dots, and it just spreads out, and where I've got the orange now is all red. So anyway, you gotta take your time with it. So my apologies for the video being a little bit on the longer side, but I gotta show you the real deal here, you know. 1 more red, that's all I got, and 2 more colors after this. So there's my red. That's all done. So I've got kind of a bright red, I've got my orange, yellow, blue's going to go right there, green's going to be in between, and then purple and kind of a deeper, darker red on the end. So it's coming out exactly the way I need it to, which is nice when that works out. I spun this around once too soon. So here comes the blue. See, different areas, different amounts of blue. It took me forever, quite honestly. Everybody thinks I can just do this stuff. It took me a good day to get the colors right, believe it or not. There we go, look at that. It took me a day to get the mix right. get the strokes right, because even once I get the pattern down on a screen, which this took me like 3 screens to get right, because I wanted it to look good, then I had to learn how to swipe it. So if you go too heavy, it gets too dark. If you go too light, it's not dark enough. Sounds basic and it looks basic. You wouldn't believe how much work it took, because this is supposed to be a rainbow and it's supposed to be a cartoon. It's supposed to be nice and bold and it's supposed to be nice and defined. So anyway, colors are all down. Last thing to do in any cartoon is to outline it. So we're going to throw down our last layer, which is black. This one's even tough. If you don't get it just right, it kind of doesn't catch. Doesn't look right. So again, every stroke here counts. Every time you do anything, it counts. Sorry, you're looking at this upside down. But anyway, you see where it all comes together. Again, I'm always talking about in the last screen is when things come together. And this is a good example of it. 2 more and I'll show you what we got. One more and I'll show you what we got. And there you have it. Remember, Barb fighting in Invicta FC 9 right here in Davenport at the River Center. And hopefully she's going to choke a bitch out. We might just see we might just see a unicorn fart a rainbow. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the fights. If not, be looking on UFC Fight Pass. And you can see me watching the fights. And I'll be wearing one of those. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.